Hey, Katie.
Hey, Alex.
Great to meet up with you here for another Mozart Snapshot.
Thanks, it's great to see you too, as always.
What are we doing today?
Well, today we are going to go visit a tiny little gem of a church that's situated in a little corner on a hill.
Which one is that?
That is the Johanneskirche am Imberg, also known as the Johanneskirchlein.
You know, this is the Kapuzinerberg. So why is it called the Johanneskirche am Imberg?
Well, because Imberg is the original name for Kapuzinerberg.
Aha. And you also said Johanneskirchlein. In German, Lein on the end of a word means little.
That's exactly right. And you remember when we were at the Salzburger Dome a few weeks ago? This whole church can fit in the corner of the Salzburger Dome. Up these stairs, and here it is. And so here we are in the St. Johannes am Imberg Kirche.
What is the story of this little church?
It actually dates back to the year 1319, which makes it the oldest church on the right side of the Salzach.
This looks high Baroque though.
Yes, that's right, because in 1681 it was actually redone under the reign of the Prince Archbishop Max Gandalf, and it was at this time also that the beautiful onion dome that you saw when we were walking in here was added.
Which Johannes is the church named after?
The name actually comes because Johannes is German for John, and it's named after two people named John, John the Baptist and John the Evangelist.
Isn't it unusual to be consecrated to two saints?
Well, it is, but actually, apparently, the reason for this is because back in the 15th century, both of these saints appeared to an important Salzburg citizen, and so they decided to consecrate the church to both Johns. And also, the two Johns represent two different aspects of the Catholic life, the active and the contemplative.
This is John the Baptist.
That's right. And in fitting with St. John the Baptist, it reminds us of the promises of baptism. And it's a kind of an interesting anecdote. Back in the year 2000, this was actually stolen by some person, and about 3 months later, it was discovered in a flea market and returned anonymously to the church.
What a story.
Yeah.
Someone must have had guilty feelings. Did Wolfgang come here?
He did. Actually, the story goes that he and his sister often came here. It was one of their favorite places.
It's definitely a wonderful, quiet little hideaway.
Yeah, it would.
We always talk about Wolfgang, but Nannerl was very talented too.
Yeah, she was very talented, and actually her father wrote a letter home to her mother saying, "My little girl is one of the most talented performers in all of Europe." And that opinion was actually voiced by people who heard her, because one time when she and her brother were playing in Munich, a count there commented that Wolfgang's playing was really lively and spirited, but that Nannerl was actually the really masterly one. Now, you got to remember, she was a little bit older than him, but nevertheless, that was the scope of her talent.
Quite a talented family.
That's right.
Did she compose at all?
Yes, and she would compose things and send them to her brother, and he commented once that he was absolutely in awe of her because of the beauty of the works that she wrote.
Why exactly did she quit touring then?
Well, she quit because in those days it was acceptable for a little girl or a young woman to perform, but not for an adult woman. Only aristocratic women were allowed to even compose or perform, but if they performed, they always had to play for free, because if they were paid, then it reflected quite badly on their reputations. And in addition to that, the family concert tours were also extremely expensive, and so at a certain point, Mama and Nannerl had to stay home. But music remained the center of Nannerl's life because she continued to perform in Salzburg and became a very respected piano teacher. Scholars even believe that she premiered 4 of her brother's piano concerti.
Well, Katie, thanks
Thank you.
und servus.
Bis zum nächsten Mal.